Conor Clancy. Will Jamesy start on Brian Corcoran at centre-half forward? That's another major question. Another lively rendition by the Sean Tracy pipe band as Clare. No mistaking anything else, however. Jamesy O'Connor and PG O'Connor switch positions. Alan Markham and Niall Ginnigan switch positions. That for the early stages of this match here. The Guinness Munster Hurling Championship semi-final match already underway. Sean McMahon then with this chance of an opening point from the 65-metre line. Got the opening score in the All-Ireland final, but this one he has put to the right. It was a decent enough chance. And the marking alignment at the back for Cork, I noticed that Sean O'Halpine has gone across to right half-back, and that's to pick up Jamesy O'Connor. This match being refereed by Willie Barrett from Tipperary, assisted by Mick Cahill and Johnny MacDonald. So it's turned out now to be a very bright afternoon, but lots of showers earlier on. Joe Dean here, trying to engineer something for Cork, getting himself a free, and a very scoreable situation as a pile-up develops. Kieran Morrison being shrugged aside there, also involved, you noticed Ollie Baker, and the referee Willie Barrett in very quickly to defuse that. Having a look around just to see who were the men who started it all. It was Joe Dean who made that run through the centre, and here's a chance for Dean to put Cork in front. So Cork's first attack yields their first score. Huge roar from the Cork following. Joe Dean, who scored 9 points in the National Hurling League semi-final against Clare, gets the first this afternoon. Down south, Cork were quite staggered by the demand for tickets for this match. 23,000 tickets sold for Cork followers, a little below that number for Clare, but then they would not have the same size of population as the rebel county. That's down towards Alan Brown, gets that first catch there against Lohan. Inside towards Joe Dean, he's got a man on mark. It's Dean going for the score himself. Well saved on the line. David Fitzgerald makes an excellent save. They're in after him. But that was a wonderful stop by the Clare goalie. A man who'll have some wonderful memories of playing here in Semple Stadium. Scored a penalty goal, of course, in the '95 Munster final. And the referee is calling us out there, Shawnee Farrell. Also bringing into the discussion the left half-back and captain Anthony Daly. The warning is issued. But that was a wonderful goal chance for Cork just moments ago here. It was Alan Brown who made a good catch, the hand pass inside towards Joe Dean, but a very good save on the line by that wonderful goalie, Davy Fitzgerald. The free to Clare brings a huge cheer from the banner following. That was added to over there by Liam Doyle. Sideline ball. Mick Daly waiting in midfield. It'll be Mark Landers who goes across to take this. Had a very good season so far. Inside towards Alan Brown. In the early stages, causing a few problems for Brian Lohan. Lohan just gets that one away. Not only as far as Shawnee McGrath. And the referee in again, spotting a foul, and it's going to be a free to Cork, just outside the 45-metre line. So the referee busy already in this match, and the Clare defence is also being called into action time and again. It'll be a free to Cork. Dean is preparing to take it. Referee was just having a word there and calling the Clare doctor, Pádraig Quinn, onto the field to attend to Liam Doyle. May have been just a loose hurley that made contact with Doyle's forehead there. Liam Doyle actually made his debut in the championship ahead of the rest of the backline back in 1989, in fact, against Waterford. He won a junior All-Ireland then in '93 against Kilkenny, and after that resumed his senior career, which has been so successful. Munster medals, All-Ireland medals, part of the finest backline for years. Colin Flynn in there as well to assist the doctor. So back he goes to do his piece of defending. And there's a second chance of a point here for Joe Dean. catches it well, puts it between the posts. That's 2 for Dean. Young UCC student from Killa. And hurling mad East Cork. So it's 2 points to 0. Just looking around at what's happening in the Clare forward line when they get possession up there. Eamon Tapp has gone in full forward. Fine catch here by Colin Lynch. Lynch still taking it forward. Been given an advantage. Back towards Ollie Baker. Looking for Clare's first score. A good point by Ollie Baker. Always, I think he'll be remembered as the Clare man who put the ball in the Cork net in Limerick to edge out Cork in that memorable 1995 meeting. Down at the other end, that's gone for a 65. Alan Brown had the shot. It went off Brian Lohan, so the game's first 65. Well, a game which has started fast and furiously. It's going to be Pat Ryan from the Sarsfields club who will take this. Ollie Baker has just gone about 20 metres in front of him. Meanwhile, Mick Daly has switched across onto the other midfielder, Colin Lynch. 65 sails high and sails between the posts. 3 shots on target by Cork, 3 points, all of them from place balls. Davy Fitzgerald playing today in his 20th championship match. Just waiting to get the instruction from the referee. In brilliant sunshine here at Semple Stadium, the home of hurling. It's Colin Lynch again drifting onto this one, challenged by Mick Daly. Nicely across there. Up into the forward line towards Alan Markham. The trip there is on the centre half back, Brian Corcoran. It'll be interesting to see how that full forward there, Eamon Tapp, will do against John Brown. Said by some people in the build-up to this to be possible weak link. And the umpire down at the other end is calling the referee's attention. The referees had to race down the full length of Semple Stadium. Something that happened clearly off the ball. Umpires that Willie Barrett can depend upon completely. So what happened and who is he going to book? He's going across to speak with a couple of players. Sean McMahon is one of them, and Kieran Mullooly, who's down by the sideline, may have seen what happened. Kieran. A
lot of activity off the ball, Ger, I can tell you. There's been a couple of clashes in the last few moments. Anthony Daly's been involved in one with Seanie McGrath, but the referee and his umpires are going to be very busy this afternoon.
Well, definitely Sean McMahon has been booked. He was speaking to Fergal McCormack as well. Meanwhile, it'll be Ger Cunningham with this free just outside the 20-metre line. A huge one from the long puck expert. The light breeze behind him. Caught inside there by Brown. He drops it. Brian Lohan goes in quickly, trying to defuse that. Good clearance by Lohan to midfield. PG O'Connell pulling at it one-handed. In quickly after that was Ollie Baker for Clare. Next it's Alan Markham. Mark Landers challenging for Cork. David Ford, man who got a great goal in the Munster final last year against Tipperary. Dispossessed by Brian Corcoran. Bad clearance, comes straight out here to Ollie Baker. Baker trying to find the range once again, and he does so. A second point by Ollie Baker. And straight away Cork will look to Mick Daly to try and close down Baker, because it's now 3 points to 2. Ger Cunningham playing in his 49th championship match. Another huge puck out, dropping it right into the half-forward line. Met there confidently by Anthony Daly. Up towards PG O'Connell, who started on the 40 against Brian Corcoran. A bit of a wild pull, and the referee goes across quickly to speak to O'Connell. Mark Landers here operating at left half-back, where he is marking David Ford. Jamesy O'Connor continuing to operate at left half forward. He's the player they're really looking to in attack, as this free is taken by Pat Ryan, and he looks for another huge point and gets it. A second point by Ryan from the free. So it's 4 points to 2 in favour of Cork. Well, is it all about experience at this level, or is it about enthusiasm? Is it freshness and hunger against the know-how that Clare have? Cork have a brilliant past, but a miserable recent record. Cork Clare, of course, with a miserable past, but a most brilliant recent record. This is taken down here by Fergal McCormack, having a successful spell on the 40 for Cork. It was a problem area for them for the last number of years. McCormack tends to switch in and out of the centre-forward position with Kieran Morrison. It'll be Liam Doyle from Bodyke. Happily recovered from the head injury he received in the early moments of this game. Very good connection up towards PG O'Connell. In there to try and knock it away from him, Brian Corcoran. They started well. Corcoran trying to be his usual dominant self at centre-half back. The linesman gives the line ball to Clare. Alan Markham being marked by Fergal Ryan from the Blackrock Club. And it's Ollie Baker who's stepping up to take this. Some 45 metres out. Well, he caught it well, but nobody able to touch it. That's a second wide now for Clare. But he's been very busy in midfield, coming forward to score 2 excellent points. Ger Cunningham pucking out. This time a shorter one, varying it somewhat towards Kieran Morrison. Mick Daly coming onto it. He was struck splendidly across there by Sean McMahon, challenged by Fergal McCormack. And once again, the linesman was indicating that it should be a Cork ball, but the referee says no, it should go the other way. We had some very, very heavy showers from midday today here, and indeed showers just before the start of the match as well, so the pitch is bound to be somewhat slippery. Sean McMahon, big one forward here. David O'Sullivan, the Cork captain, under it. Stopped over there. David Ford trying to dispossess him, taken up very neatly here. Niall Gilligan hitting it, and he's put it in, but it's stopped magnificently by Ger Cunningham. Most other goalkeepers, I think, who didn't have his size or frame would have been happy to bat that one over. Not so Ger Cunningham. Here's Colin Lynch. Lynch is fouled. Free to Clare. The Munster and All-Ireland champions, so anxious to make amends for the league semi-final when they really didn't play well at all, and were humbled to the tune of 11 points. The triumvirate there, we've got Mike McNamara and of course Ger Loughnane along with Tony Considine. They were tense beforehand, wouldn't you be? That's dropped in there towards David Ford, just needed a pull on the hurley that time. Tap there as well. John Brown trying to get it out, and in the end it's taken Brian Corcoran back there. A little deflection on it by Niall Gilligan, and it's gone for a sideline ball. But it could have been dangerous. Once again, Brian Corcoran starting so promisingly, set to be honoured in Cork tomorrow for his outstanding performance in the league final. It's Cork's sideline ball. Fergal Ryan hitting this one. Good connection. Anthony Daly coming across, supported there by Brian Quinn. Breaks for Fergal McCormack. He's got men running ahead of him, doesn't need them, goes for the shot himself. That's an excellent rate of scoring by Cork in the early minutes of this match. Fergal McCormack from Mallow scored a couple as well against Limerick, and it's now 5 points to 2. But remember, there is a light breeze favouring Cork in this first half. They've settled the better, they've taken their chances, each and every one of them, and Fergal McCormack with this latest one here. That's David Ford knocking it up there again towards Niall Gilligan. The rangy figure of Gilligan, familiar style by now, but that one has gone wide, and that's 3 wides now for Clare. Gilligan, the man who left backs in his wake in last year's All-Ireland final. So Ger Cunningham seeking an 8th Munster Championship medal this year in his 18th season. Quite a record. Well, some more team news from Kieran Mullooly down by the sideline.
There's a super battle going on, Ger, between Jamesy O'Connor and Sean O'Halpin. Jamesy's been trying to move out of his position. He's played on both wings and in the centre during the last 3 minutes, yet the man is sticking to him and will not leave him.
I think he's already got the Christmas card for Jamesy in his back pocket in the dressing room. And there they are again, competing and contesting. Well, both teams have done their homework. They know the strong players. They know where, for instance, Cork can build from Brian Corcoran and from Sean O'Halpin, and Cork know that Jamesy, if given any kind of latitude at all, could absolutely destroy their defence. Mark Landers towards Alan Brown, again making a good catch, beating Brian Lowen to it, and he's put it to the left. And that's just Cork's first wide. But early indications that Alan Brown is having the better of his tussle with Brian Lowen. That's bound to unsettle Lowen, and you know the kind of competitive figure that he is, very strong character, dominant, commanding, and usually doing his work in a most unruffled manner. Well, the strength of the breeze, I think, indicated by that puck out there from David Fitzgerald. Maybe it's more than a light breeze down there. Linesman signalling that it's going to be Clare's sideline cut. Well, they brought Ollie Baker across, but it's going to be Liam Doyle who'll take the responsibility, which makes a bit of sense. Pushes an extra man forward. So 15 minutes into this first half. Sean McMahon closed down instantly. Pat Ryan dropping it in there towards Alan Brown against Lowen, and again Brown has got it. Lowen in some trouble over there. That one hand passed outside towards Shawnee Farrell. Brian Quinn gets in the challenge quickly. Good play by Quinn. Championship newcomer, and now Brian Lowen carrying it out after the uncertain start, anxious to give the leadership up towards PJ O'Connell, two players who've done their bit for Clare during the 90s. And that's a sideline ball. I think Colin Lynch having a little word there with Johnny MacDonald, saying, was the whole of that ball out over the sideline? Mentor is out on their feet straight away and up there to have words with everybody and anybody. Pat Ryan will hit this across towards Joe Dean. Nobody quite sure just who was going to end up getting that one. It was Frank Lowen. Lowen operating at right cornerback, Brian Quinn at left cornerback. Here is Lowen once again, beating Joe Dean to it. Liam Doyle taking it out here. The pass towards Colin Lynch, swiftly knocked forward towards Niall Gilligan. Gilligan makes a very good catch against Diarmuid O'Sullivan. Now Gilligan trying to press forward for Clare, looking for something from this attack. He's got Eamon Taft calling for it. Reaches him with the second touch, manages to pick it up. Against O'Sullivan once again, Taft with the shot and Taft with the score. Eamon Taft's first point. You might call him the 6-minute man, given just that much time in the second half of the 95 All-Ireland final. And of course, he managed to get a crucial goal and was subbed immediately. It was said afterwards that the mentors didn't quite realise who got the goal. Referee goes down to have a word there with Ollie Baker. All in pretty good spirit after a lively and tempestuous start to this match, where the free-flowing hurling has yet to really develop in this game. Referee has gone across and brought the ball a little bit nearer. Joe Dean here will take the free, and you'll have noticed already the quickness with which Ger Cunningham pucks that ball out, and it's been trying to catch Clare out and has done so on a few occasions. Dean with another one, and it's 6 points to 3. That's 3 successful frees for Joe Dean. Happy Cork faces down there at the town end. David Fitzgerald's puck out. Colin Lynch contesting with Pat Ryan. Lynch had such a wonderful 97. Didn't manage to take that ball up. Landers came in with a shoulder. Now it's Pat Ryan, chased by Ollie Baker. Jamesy O'Connor's there as well. Neat pick up by Jamesy, wanting to get into the match. Good hand pass outside here towards PJ O'Connell. And he's put it very wide indeed. It was a good chance. Well, they now have 4 wides, Clare. Not converting the chances, and that was a good one there. And they had to work so hard for it. Ger Cunningham again just hitting this one onto the 40 there, trying not to hit it in the complete distance. Colin Lynch, Brian Corcoran breaks it down to himself. The shoulder there from Jamesy O'Connor. A strongly bent Corcoran towards Shawnee Farrell, leaving it there for Shawnee McGrath. Good ball inside towards Alan Brown. blocked by Frank Lowen. The attack still there. Frank Lowen trying to scoop it away, does so successfully. Excellent defending there. Sean McMahon coming next. And the Clare backs put under sustained pressure by the Cork forwards, building on an impressive performance by their half-back line in particular. Up it comes towards Fergal McCormack. McCormack one-handed there against Jamesy. It really is hell for leather. David Ford coming in on this one. The shoulder from O'Sullivan. Still David Ford. Still the Clare man coming, looking for the score. Shorting the grip on the stick and putting it between the sticks. That's a great point by David Ford. His first of the match. The kind of inspirational leadership that the forwards have required, and it's now just 6 points to 4. Anxious, tense moments for the Cork selectors and indeed the subs down there. But such a fast game. Brian Lowen comes out. They claim he picked it up off the ground. The referee says play on. It's a hand pass outside. Referee again gives an advantage after Shawnee Farrell fouled Brian Lowen. Comes out to Ollie Baker, one of the strongest hurlers in the game. Really physically strong. He's knocked down, and it's going to be a free for Clare. Well, he's not the kind of guy who would feign an injury like some of the characters we've been watching over the last 10 days. You know where. In you know what. Well, the referee anxious to get the medical people back quickly. Corey Quinn was just in there partly to attend, and Con Murphy is in to attend to an injury to one of the Cork players. Could it be Shawnee Farrell? It may well be, because I don't see him standing around just now. Well, all of Clare's scores so far have come from play in this match. It looks to me like Shawnee Farrell, as Jimmy Barry Murphy there has a word with Ted Owens. Sean O'Leary, one of the mentors as well. A newcomer to the selection committee this year, all playing their full part. Dark clouds overhead again, more breeze developing. Another hint of a shower any second. Meanwhile, play will resume with this free to Sean McMahon, looking for perhaps the first point from a free for Clare this afternoon. And this would put just one between the teams. Hitting into the breeze, but he's missed the second one. The wides mount up, alarmingly so. It's 5 now. And just about 21, nearly 22 minutes gone, as you can see. That's broken out again by the Clare backs, by Brian Quinn. Out towards Ollie Baker. Beyond PJ O'Connell, always favouring Brian Corcoran. Dispossessed momentarily, but he wins it back. And Brian Corcoran is really settling down now to play his usual dominant centre half-back role. A player who burst onto the scene in 1981. The jeers coming from the Clare fans close to Brian as he's about to hit this free. Not agreeing with the referee's decision. Corcoran sweeps it down towards Joe Dean. Frank Lowen is there as well. Touched out towards the waiting Anthony Daly. Cork get it back here. Brown back towards Shawnee McGrath. Yet to score in this match. And Brian Lowen comes out after him that time. They're well aware of the danger that Shawnee McGrath possesses. Twice he set up goals in the league semi-final, but again it's Brian Corcoran masterfully back towards Shawnee Farrell. 3 men on him. In there as well as Alan Brown. Some jersey tugging, some pulling and so on. The referee says play on. Joe Dean has it right on the end line. The hand pass across, always favouring the backs. Comes out here, missed completely by Mick Daly. Picked up instead here by Ollie Baker. Baker sweeps it back towards the forward line. Up towards David Ford, runs back again to Brian Corcoran. Nobody really able to put in a tackle on Corcoran. He fires it in, stopped by the goalkeeper. And that he stepped out over the end line, but the referee says hang on a while. That was a foul, and it's going to be a free out for Clare. Second very impressive save made by Davy Fitzgerald. And as we mentioned, the rain has indeed come tumbling down once again. David Fitzgerald still winded after that challenge, which has resulted in a free out for Clare. But he's a very cool character under pressure, David Fitzgerald. Clare has played a wonderfully full role in the Clare success story since emerging from a very good minor team. You remember it back in 1989. PJ O'Connell and Jamesy O'Connor have been switched. Jamesy's now in on Brian Corcoran. Will that make a difference? Meanwhile, it's Mark Landers and Mick Daly there combining. Fergal McCormack sweeping it with a ground stroke downfield. Brian Lowen coming across, about to be challenged by Alan Brown. Good sidestep by Brian Lowen. Well, after the uncertainty early on, he'll be hoping now to settle down and play a very full role in that Clare defence. That's blocked down again by Brian Corcoran from the stick there of Jamesy O'Connor. Stalemate over there. David Ford trying to make progress against Mark Landers. Mick Daly is the number 9. Swept forward by Jamesy O'Connor out over the far sideline, and it's going to be a sideline ball for Cork. Well, what a performance that Brian Corcoran has given so far in this match, and there's his new marker now, the man who was originally down on the programme at least to mark him, Jamesy O'Connor. Diarmuid O'Sullivan miss-hitting that one. Comes back off David Ford's legs from the stick there of Mick Daly. David Ford with 1 point so far. Ford playing in his 4th championship match. Mark Landers here, playing for Cork in just his 2nd. Well hit. Sean McMahon drops it, uncharacteristically so, into the arms of Joe Dean, and that's gone over the bar. From what should have been a block by McMahon, it was a point instead for Joe Dean, his 4th of the day, but just the first to come from play. So Cork stretched their lead, and really Clare should have cleared that one, no doubt about it, but they're making mistakes here and there. David Fitzgerald's puck out as Cork have opened up a 3-point lead into midfield. We'd expect Clare to do a great deal better. Jamesy O'Connor now hasn't been a good first half for the Bannermen so far. Towards Niall Gilligan. Once again Gilligan getting onto it ahead of Fergal Ryan, and that's a man who certainly, if he gets decent ball, can take the scores. Niall Gilligan with his first. So another point from play for Clare, and it's 7 points to 5. But earlier on, Ger Cunningham was fucking out the ball so fast, it was catching just about everybody here. Rain teams down once more as Joe Dean comes and fetches again alongside Frank Lowen. Frank also ex-UCC, and that ball was picked up, and it's going to be a free. Some mistakes that Clare don't ordinarily make, and this afternoon being penalised, but the gap only 2 points. It's a tight Munster Championship match. Joe Dean. Good record so far from frees. This from 45 metres, 3 from 3 to date. And that is now 4 from 4. You can't expect much more from your free taker. So 8 points to 5. We mentioned the mistakes that some of the Clare backs are making. And as Con Murphy here just goes in to give an instruction to some of the players, I should mention that Shawnee McGrath hasn't scored so far, Kieran Morrison hasn't scored so far, Jamesy O'Connor for Clare, PG O'Connell, they haven't scored so far. That was Morrison. That was a sideline ball. It's going to be a sideline ball, which Brian Quinn is shaping up like he might take it. You can just see the force of the rain there. Some really heavy squally showers in the Thurles area this afternoon. It's Brian Quinn, who comes from Tulla. Very neat cornerback, and brought in at the 11th hour to replace Michael O'Halloran. What's happening just in front of him there? And the referee takes out the notebook. And this time it's going to be Liam Doyle, and it must be Sean O'Farrell, who was not booked earlier on. Remember, he was spoken to at a time when the referee was also booking Sean McMahon. So I think the score at this stage is two Clare players booked, 1 from Cork. Brian Quinn didn't make a particularly good connection. Missed by McCormack. It reaches PG O'Connell. His marker is Sean O'Halpine. Decision goes Clare's way. It's a fairly light breeze. Just looking at the national flag, it looks fairly limp. The flag there alongside